Good evening and welcome to another installment of the House of Medics. We're live on YouTube. My name is Dr. Emma. You may know me. I'm one of the co-founders of the House of Medics and I'm a dermatology doctor working in London. I don't usually host these shows, so congratulations to you. You get to see me on a Sunday evening. I'm here with Dr. Chris. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm a medical doctor practicing in London. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Good evening. Send in your comments. I can see all your comments, so make sure you let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from, and don't forget to give the video a like. So hit the thumbs up. Make sure you like the video, you're sharing, letting your friends know that we're on. We're going to have a nice inspirational evening as always. So as you may or may not know, the House of Medics is a community of healthcare professionals from all different walks of life, all different disciplines and specialties. And we just want to give out some inspiration and give you all insight into what all the different roles that are within healthcare and what some of the amazing people do that come in on our show. So, Dr. Chris, you gave a very humble introduction. You're a doctor.
Yes.
Tell me, what kind of doctor are you? What's your usual week like? Tell us.
Cool. So at the moment I'm working in acute medicine. So it's like emergency medicine. Most of my time is spent in A&E. So when a sick patient comes to A&E and they need to be seen by the medical team, and then that's when I see them, and then I have a look at the patient, examine the patient, any investigations that might need to be requested or done, I arrange that out, any imaging, I sort all that stuff out. Or sometimes I'm on the acute wards, and then we look after the acutely unwell patients on the wards that look after the acute patients, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we usually have some medical students watching, or maybe even younger students who are thinking about medicine. What does it mean for a patient to be acutely unwell? Like, you're on the acute medical unit. What kind of things do you see there?
So that means basically very, very unwell. So these are patients that if they're not treated for properly, they could end up very severely unwell, or they could potentially die. So these are high-risk patients that may deteriorate. So that's what we mean by acutely unwell patients.
Okay, so you save lives.
Yeah, well, something.
Saving lives, awesome. So tell me, are you someone that's always wanted to be a doctor? How did you get into medicine?
Good question. So I could say I always wanted to be a doctor, but there was a point in my life where I kind of decided that maybe it's not for me. So when I was young, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a doctor. And then when I got to sort of mid-teens, around A-levels age, I decided, no, there's got to be other things that maybe you can make more money, jobs that are a bit more fun, not as difficult or stressful with long training. And so I kind of did that. And my first degree was in science. And then when I was doing that, because it was a clinical sciences degree, I sort of saw a bit of what medicine involved in it. I was still interested in medicine. But when I finished, I actually went to work in finance.
Okay.
And I got a really well-paying job in finance in the city. And I loved the pay, but I hated the job. And within about a couple of months, or about 6 weeks in that job, just sitting behind the computer, behind an Excel sheet, you know, just basically populating Excel sheets. It was really boring. That's what led me to be like, okay, do you know what? Let me just do what I wanted to really do from when I was young, and let me pursue medicine. And then I went to medical school, and yeah.
Wow. Okay, so there's a lot in there to unpack. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. So what was your first degree in? Clinical science?
My first degree was in clinical sciences.
Okay. And
then,
I've never actually,
yeah.
I don't know anybody that's done that as a degree.
Yeah, it's the thing. So that's what I did first. Because when what attracted me to the course was that it had prospects of working in the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay.
And so at the time when I'd finished my A-levels, that's what I was sort of looking at, you know, because I knew that there were a lot of sort of jobs based in science, but you could also sort of develop your sort of business skills and that as well, which I was also very much interested in. And they were quite rewarding. They used to pay quite well, or they still do. And then I didn't go down the pharmaceutical route, I went down the finance route, but then that job was far too boring for me.
Okay.
And then it sort of brought me back to what my original passion was, which was medicine.
Okay. So that's really nice, actually, that you did actually experience something else. Because for someone like me, I've just been like medicine. And I don't even know I could have enjoyed something else. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice to know that you had that period doing something else and actually you came back and was like, no, definitely medicine. So how did you end up in finance and not going down the pharmaceutical route in the end?
So when I finished my first degree, that's when a lot of corporate jobs started opening up their applications to, as long as you had a degree, and you showed that you matched the skill set, you can do the job. So you didn't need a finance degree, and you still don't need a finance degree to do a finance job. And so yeah, as long as you come to the interview, and they would have like open days, and you do different assessments online, in person, and if you pass those, and then you could get the job. So it wasn't a job necessarily just for finance students, and that's what I wanted. At the time, I was basically chasing the bag. That's what I wanted. So I was only looking for jobs that paid really, really well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And that was something that came up, and I managed to get that job. And yeah, the pay was great, but it just wasn't fulfilling. And because it wasn't fulfilling, I couldn't enjoy it. And that's what drove me to really pursue my original passion, yeah.
I love that. So how much better is the pay we're talking? So obviously don't say figures, but are we talking like double what you'd get as a doctor, triple, 1.5? Like how much better was it?
It would be like, it's hard to say what you'd get as a doctor because it is really difficult to say. You've got like a basic pay, but a lot of people can do other things to add to their pay. But it's like, let's say the average salary of an F1 is like 30k or so?
Yeah,
28 to 30k, something like that.
Yeah.
It was more than that. Not quite 1.5, but more than that. And for me, who was like 21, 22 at the time, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that kind of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of money. So yeah, it was more than F1 pay, way more than what you'd get as an F1 doctor. Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm quite happy that we've gone there, like we've gone to finance, because I think there's a lot of misconception about doctors, and that if you become a doctor, automatically you'll be wealthy and well paid. And you guys won't know, but one of our mentees, I don't know, what do I even call you now? Someone that I've known for a very long time, she's sitting in the audience, and she messaged me during the week, like, how much pay can I actually expect as an F1? She's just finished medical school, she's about to start F1. And I was like, to be honest, I can't tell you because it's so variable. It depends on what job you do, like what your out of hours are like, even what part of the country you are. If you work in London, you get a bit more. And I was like, I don't know what to say. You're just going to have to wait and see what comes out of the pay slip. And like you said, £28,000. I think a lot of people would actually be shocked.
Yeah.
People think it's way more because you've given however many years of your life to reading and to training, perfecting your craft, to end up with £28,000. A lot of people find it quite shocking when you tell non-medics. So it's very interesting that you brought that up. And I think it's good to give people that perspective that no one really goes into medicine for the money, because obviously, if you're intelligent enough to do medicine, you could probably do something else and get paid more. So it really is a vocation. You have to have a passion for
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool. So what about the finance job was just not sitting right with you?
I felt no fulfillment at all. Like I would go in and out, and I just felt like I wasn't achieving anything. Even though I was hitting like the targets that they had set for me at work, it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough for me to want to do this job for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I couldn't do it for 3 months.
Really?
I had to find something else. It was just way too boring. And as I said, it didn't give me enough enjoyment, enough fulfillment, and it wasn't rewarding enough. It was rewarding money-wise, but it wasn't otherwise rewarding. And so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So then I suppose the flip side I would ask is, in what ways is medicine, much more rewarding and fulfilling?
Good question. For me, medicine is much more rewarding because it's not about the money, it's more about the impact that you can make in someone's life. You can help people. It sounds quite cliche, but just the opportunity to be able to help someone is unwell, and you're able to contribute to them getting better, and them, So just being able to help people get better and treat people when they're sick.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
Yeah.
You see, I often see, because I work in acute medicine, you often see people come in quite unwell, and then because of the treatments that we give them and how we look after them, they can be discharged, being 100% again because you're able to look after them, and that in itself is rewarding, regardless of what you're being paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so important. Really, really important. Just a reminder, guys, that you can send in questions at any point. So all of you watching, make sure you send in your questions for Dr. Chris. I will ask them live. Make sure that you've liked the video. So I want to ask, obviously, like I said, we have a lot of students in the community. And obviously you said medicine is rewarding and stuff and all the other stuff. What are some of the difficult parts of being a doctor? Maybe you say some and I'll say some.
Okay. I would say it can be very stressful, but like all the time. So you have to be able to know how to cope with stress quite well. And what I mean by that is some jobs, maybe you can have like stressful periods, maybe when you need to meet your targets or you have deadlines and stuff. But medicine, depending on what part of medicine you're working in, it can be stressful all the time. And that can take its toll on some people. And so it's important that you're able to manage stress. Another downside, I would say, is we rarely leave on time. So you might be down to work like 9 to 5. That doesn't mean that you're leaving at 5, because what you still need to get done at 5 is not always easy to hand on to somebody else. You just need to stay back and get it done. There's been numerous times, countless times when I'm meant to finish at a particular time, but I find myself leaving after. I might have plans, but then I need to either postpone my plans or cancel my plans because I'm just stuck at work. So yeah, that's another downside.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely concur. It's the norm to not leave on time.
Yeah.
Like, it's the standard.
Like, for example, for me, sometimes, even to this day, when I leave on time, I feel like I feel like it's a treat.
I've forgotten something.
Yeah, it feels like a treat to leave on time. Like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be doing this? No, let me just wait 5 more minutes. Maybe something should come up. But really, you just get so used to leaving late. But yeah, that's a downside. It's always leaving late. Yeah.
And I think what I would say as well, from my experience, is obviously you may or may not know, before you become a dermatology doctor, you do other specialties. So I've done my rotations within medicine. So when I moved to derm, I thought like, okay, surely now I'm going to be leaving on time. You know, maybe it's an outpatient-based specialty. I don't have patients on the ward. I definitely don't leave on time. And I think what people don't realize is I think people can easily understand why in an acute medicine you can leave on time because you have unforeseen emergencies, right? And people will think, oh, well, surely in dermatology you don't have many emergencies. But you still leave late because even though you don't have emergencies, the volume, so there's literally no easy specialty in the NHS because all of us are so stretched, like the volume of work that we're doing, there aren't enough hours in the day. So you can imagine, you know, sometimes it's frustrating for me. I'll get calls and people just think, oh, but you're chilling though, you do derm. I'm like, I'm definitely not because I still work within the NHS and the volume of work is massive. We've got a lot of comments coming through. I'm just going to read them. Starman says, really interesting talk so far. Thank you, Starman. He's doing a great job, is he not? Explore Sam said, can you contact the BMA to get the pay for extra time? Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so you can speak to the BMA. You can also, most hospitals have a system where you can exception report. So if you find that you're not leaving at the time you're supposed to leave, and then you can write reports to the people that look after the exception reports, and they can account for the extra hours, and then they'll speak to like the consultants, and then they revise the workload or like the staffing levels, and then you can be paid back for some of the time that you've had to stay back.
Yeah, and I would add to that, if there are any junior doctors watching, please do exception report. This is something I feel quite passionate about because I think a lot of doctors feel like if they exception report, it looks bad or it looks unprofessional. But no, the whole point of exception reporting is that it's documented like, okay, this job is meant to be done by 2 people, but if the 2 people doing the job are exception reporting, they can see, oh, maybe they need an extra doctor and things can change and you can get paid for your time. Like, it's not frowned upon. I know there are some juniors who, like, their consultant has maybe looked at them a bit sideways. If they exception report, don't accept it. Like, you should exception report. That's the only way a department will improve. So definitely, any junior doctors watching, you should be exception reporting. The comments are coming fast. You're popular, Dr. Chris. Elelion said, that's deep. We appreciate you, docs. Thank you. Nana has asked, how many years in total did it take you to qualify as a doctor, given you took time off to work in finance?
So if I exclude the time from my first degree and the time I worked in finance, then it will be 6 years in total. So like 5 years medical school, then an internship year at the end. So 6 years in total. If I include my degree before and the finance experience, then all of that will be like 10 years or so. So yeah.
So you put in the years.
I put in the years.
You put in the work.
100%.
Okay, the comments are coming fast. Kwame Osei Owusu said, I'm happy that this distinct financial reward for healthcare is made clear by Dr. Chris, because if it was for money, many of us will not be in it, 100%. And I think it's really important that the public knows that we're not in it for money. Like, we're not taking your abuse because we get a lot of money at the end of the month. So when you're about to shout at your doctor, just take a bit more time to know that we're not getting paid that much money. So just be a bit patient, understand that we're working really hard. I might just actually come off that. Have you had any, difficult experiences with patients? I've definitely had more than a few.
I've been quite fortunate. I haven't had really bad ones myself, but I've seen my colleagues have bad ones, like racist patients who don't want to be treated by them because of their race. But I haven't had anything too bad so far.
Okay.
I mean, I've had people that don't want to receive the treatment just because their mental health is not in the best place. But I haven't had anything too crazy.
Okay.
No fun stories to tell there.
Awesome. Okay, that's good. Let me go through a few of the comments before I miss them from the screen. Stacey said, "Do you plan to stay in acute medicine?"
For the meanwhile, yes, I like it. I like the pace. The general medicine wards, they're all right, but it's a bit too slow for me. The patients generally are not that unwell, so it's all a bit like slow. Like the ward rounds can be so slow. You take like 20-30 minutes to see each patient, write down all the notes and all. It's a bit slow. I prefer the acute side of things where the patients are unwell. You see them quickly, you do things quickly, you see results quickly. I prefer that for now. So at least for the next maybe 6 months or so, I plan to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what I'll do after that.
So can I ask, why did you not decide to work in A&E in accident and emergency?
Because with acute medicine, a lot of the things I would prefer not to deal with is filtered out by the A&E team.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah.
Do you mean surgery and...
Surgery, other specialties, social admissions, all of that stuff gets filtered out through the emergency department team, and then we just see the acutely unwell patients that need to be seen by the medical team. And that's what I want to do. So that's why I prefer acute med to ED.
Okay, so you're really a medic at heart.
I am, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That doesn't mean I want to stay in hospital forever though. But yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Kwame says, "Can Dr. Chris take us through his journey in Plovdiv as I'm international student studying medicine?" What's Plovdiv?
So Plovdiv is a city in Bulgaria. So so it's another popular place where a lot of British medical students study medicine abroad. And there are a number of countries abroad that a lot of British medical students go, or British students go to study medicine and come back to the UK to work. Plovdiv is one of, I think, 5 medical schools in Bulgaria. Okay. And yes, it's quite a popular space for a lot of medics go away.
Yeah, Kwame, I think we also have a few medics within the department that have studied abroad. So send us a DM and we can put you in touch with someone if you have more questions on that. Shay Love London says, "What will you do next within your field?"
So right now I've taken a year out of training, as we call it. So I'm just doing like locum work at the moment. So after locum work, my plan is to go into specialty training. Most likely it's going to be GP. Okay. I think I want to be in the community. As I said, I don't want to be in a hospital setting forever. So yeah, it's going to be GP for me. Nice. Derm is cool, but the training is long.
It's 4 years.
Yeah, but you have to do
you have to do the core medical training.
Core medical training. And yeah, that's long.
Okay, yeah, it's not for everybody. Why GP?
Community setting, you get to follow patients over a long time, you get to see them, for many years. And you don't have to do ward rounds and all of that stuff. And it doesn't come with the pressures of hospital medicine. I know GP definitely comes with its own pressure. I know there's a lot of admin. I know it has its downsides and stuff. But I feel like that's better suited for me and what I see myself wanting for the future. So yeah, community. I think.
I like that. It's so funny because a lot of the things you said are some of the reasons I chose dermatology as well. So I don't think I had a problem with ward rounds. I thought they were okay. But now when I go to the wards to review patients and I see people on the ward round, I'm like, flipping heck, this looks
doing
so
every single
literally, yeah. I'm like,
how many years?
Literally, when I see them, I'm like, how did I do this every day? Yeah. This looks long. And you see the F1. Yeah. My hospital at the moment still writes on paper. Yeah. So you see them like carrying notes, writing quickly, chasing people. Yeah, I agree. The ward round life is not it.
Yeah, exactly.
And secondly, it's very satisfying to be able to follow patients, because obviously I can do that also. It's an outpatient specialty. And you don't really get that as a junior doctor on the ward, to see patients back and see
You don't see, yeah.
yeah, you literally don't see.
Once they're gone, unless they come back. You know, you have those regulars. But, but yeah, once they're gone, that's it.
Yeah.
You never know what happens to them. And sometimes you do wonder, patients do pop to your mind.
So much, isn't it?
It's not just me.
Sometimes you'll be in bed, you'll be like, I wonder what happened to that guy.
Not when I'm in bed. That's just you. I don't have when I'm in bed. But sometimes.
I think you leave me hanging when I thought
your patients do pop back.
we're doing this together.
Come on. But yeah, nah.
Okay, awesome. Stacey said, is there a way to make more money in medicine? The golden question. Let's go there.
Let's go there.
Is there a way to make more money in medicine?
There is. There's loads of ways to make money in medicine. So obviously you can have your base salary if you're in like training, or if you're in if you have a contract with a hospital, if you're like trust grade or something, then you have like your base salary. But you can, if you do extra hours, for example, or if you're like banded to do like on calls, you do nights, weekends and evenings and stuff, you get more money. And then also you have the opportunity to do locum work or bank work, which is in your free time. You can work at the hospital or at other hospitals, either directly with the hospital, or you can work through an agency. You can negotiate a rate and you get paid for every hour you work. So there's loads of, so if you work 9 to 5 at your hospital, you can work 6 to 12 elsewhere. You can work on the weekends, you can work nights, you can work on your time off. There's always going to be work available. There's a lot of demand for doctors. So there's loads of ways to make money. And there's ways to make money. People do all sorts of things. A lot of people are going into aesthetics now as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are using their degree to, market, aesthetic brands, and they're doing like fillers and stuff for people. There's loads of things you could do to make extra money.
So many, yeah. And I think what I would say as well is we're really blessed as a generation. Well, I suppose it's both a blessing and a curse, but as a generation to have social media. Not saying that everyone should be jumping on social media and talking about medicine. However, there are lots of things you can do, because as a medic, you're, almost like a mini expert in your field. So in terms of like writing for magazines, writing for newspapers, you can do that. If you're not someone that wants your face everywhere, you can write things if you're interested in educating the public. Of course, there are some doctors that get into the media, which is, has its own, its own nuances and own problems. But of course, that exists. You've got things like volunteering to read. There are some publications and things that will ask you to like proofread some of the things they said. Is it clinically accurate? So yeah, so many things that you can get involved in. Stacey asked another question. She said, have you experienced any challenges as a black doctor in the NHS? And I will just shout out someone, because I think someone asked a very similar question on the Instagram. So I just think it's important to shout them out. Ore the Doc, thank you for your question. Very similar. She said, have you faced any challenges in the workplace being a doc of colour, and how did you overcome?
It's a good question. Yes, I have experienced a few challenges. Nothing too crazy. But I think sometimes people, when they see a black man in a hospital in scrubs, they don't assume that you're a doctor. And I've had that experience many times. They want to think that you're something else, like you can't have a doctor, or you can't be a doctor. So yeah, sometimes people be like sometimes you have like a porter come to deliver something, and they'll be like, hi, nurse. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not a nurse, but there's a nurse there. Or like, there was one time I was on an acute ward, and there was a pharmacist who needed a particular prescription. She needed an FP10, the green prescriptions, for a patient, and only an SHO can do those prescriptions. So if you're an F1, if it's your first year of being a doctor, basically, you can't sign those prescriptions. So I was there and I was available, just doing what I was doing, and then she came in and she was like, oh, where are the SHO? There's no SHOs. Then she walked away, and then she came back, and then she was like, oh, where are all these doctors? Why are they so busy? And I sat there and I was looking at her like, okay, I won't mind you. I'll just, you keep doing that. And then she came back later, and at the point there was 3, let's say white doctors were in the room. And she was like, oh, can one of you guys please sign this for me? And I was like, I could have signed that for you. And she was like, no, you have to be an SHO. You can't be and I was like, yeah, I am an SHO. And so yeah, you just those kind of things, like people kind of don't assume you're a doctor, or they want to think maybe you're a nurse or stuff like that. From my experience, that's all I've really seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had very similar experiences as well. Luckily, I haven't had any overtly racist patients, although I know lots of people who have. You know, I've got colleagues that have been told, oh, I don't want the black doctor to see me and things like that. And I think I've probably been able to dodge a lot of that because I've worked mostly in London and surrounding areas, which is, of course, quite ethnically diverse. But what you're experiencing, what you've described, happens to me at least 3 times a week, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because like I said, it's an outpatient specialty, right?
Yeah.
So when you're, and imagine as well with dermatology, the waiting lists are quite long. So some people waited a year to see me. So when they walk in, so the way it works in my hospital as well is I have a nurse in clinic with me. So the nurse will go out and call the patient to come in. So when they walk in, they're like, where's the doctor?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's me. And it happens so many times. And obviously I have quite a young looking face as well. So literally someone came in, I think it was on Thursday, and he was like, you look like you just came out of school. And I was like, I've been a doctor for 7 years. Like, I'm definitely going to diagnose your skin cancer. And I'll probably be the one that cuts it out as well. Like, it's just, it happens over and over again. People think you're too young to be a doctor. And some of it is like, you can't see how young I look. Like, I'm wearing a mask. You can't tell I look young. What you're really trying to say is, I'm not the doctor that you expected to see, which is fine. But like, let's get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to understand that doctors come in all shapes and sizes now. All different colours, you know, it's 2022.
It really is.
We need to move on.
Is,
But yeah, I think I experienced that a lot. People, like you said, people call me nurse all the time. At my hospital, we wear bright red lanyards that say doctor, but they'll still call me nurse, or call me miss or whatever. But it's like, no, doctor. So it definitely happens. Kwame said, I agree with Dr. Bart on that. That even inspires me more when people do not expect me to be playing that role. It's always funny in the hospital or in the community. Yeah, I agree actually. Sometimes it gives you a little like push to do better.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll see someone, they'll look at your name badge just to make sure like you're a doctor. Like sometimes you see people like look for your name badge.
Yes,
like,
they're
they just want to see that it says doctor on there. Yeah, here you go. I am.
Happens all the time. And I think even more so, obviously, Dr. Chris, you're a very trendy guy. Your beard is fully connected. When I saw Dr. Chris's jacket, I wasn't wearing this before, but I was intimidated by his jacket. So me too, I went to put on my own jacket so that I can look cool. You're a very cool looking guy. Like, do you think, how important do you think it is to still be yourself? And the reason I'm asking is because I think when I was more junior, there were times when I sort of felt like, I don't know, you feel like maybe you should dress a certain way and, you know, not speak a certain way. Maybe you should change your voice when you're in the ward, maybe not do my hair a certain way. But then actually it's like, no, I should definitely dress however I want to dress. I should do, you know, I should be myself. I shouldn't have to create a new personality. I don't know if you have any comments on that.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like you shouldn't let medicine take over your whole life. And it's really easy for it to do that. And I remember when I was on F1, all I did was like for a good like 4 or 5 months, all I did was really just go to work and come home and like do nothing or just work on my mind, because I spent so much of the day stressed, like running around the wards and stuff. When I got home, I just like needed to just chill, just relax and stuff. But then I figured that if you just go to work and you just come back and you don't really have much of a life outside of medicine, you lose yourself. And so it's important that you tap into everything that you are truly passionate about, everything that you know that you stand for, everything you want to do. If you want to be enjoying your life outside medicine, you need to tap into that enjoyment. Make sure you have a balanced life.
Yeah.
And I say that to everyone. It's really important. It's not just about work. So if it's fashion, if it's looking good, if it's eating out, if it's going to concerts, whatever it is, just enjoy your life outside of work.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. It's so important. What are the other things you like to do outside of medicine?
Sorry, just the comment that's made me laugh.
What, the food blog?
The food blog comment made me laugh.
I feel like he knows you on a personal level. Is this a friend of yours?
Yeah, I'm seeing government name on there. I'm seeing it.
It takes time, yeah? This is YouTube.
So, what did you ask? What I like to do outside work?
Yeah, how do you unwind?
I like to chill. I like to spend time with my friends, my family. I like to cook. I like to go out to eat. I like to go on holiday. And yeah, just wherever the enjoyment is, you'll catch me there.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah, that's me. I like to chill. I like to work hard, play hard. That's truly my motto. And if you know me, I live by that. Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as an enjoyment minister?
Others would describe me as an enjoyment
Okay.
minister.
Okay, that's a very political answer. We have to answer Kwame's question. Sir, do you have a food blog?
I don't have a food blog, but I think he definitely follows me on Instagram. He sees me posting a lot of food.
Okay.
And no, I don't have a food blog. Maybe I'll start a blog or a TikTok. That's what everyone's telling me to start.
Okay, I would love to see you on
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
I think
I probably need to do that. So yeah, you might have inspired something, Kwame. Thank you.
There you go, Kwame. So you've done some good work today. Stacey said, I'm loving this so far, not letting medicine take over your life completely. So important.
Yeah.
And Nana said, that's true. People have stereotypical perception of doctors. 100%. Okay, so we've already been talking for over 45 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Yeah. So I'm going to start rounding up. If you have any pressing questions, please send them in because we're only going to be on for a few more minutes. But I would also like to ask if you checked yourself. He doesn't even believe me. Check. Because at the beginning, guys, I told him we're going to speak for about an hour, and he was like, "No, an hour's way too long." But it goes really fast.
It does.
And you guys have been amazing. Thank you all for your comments and questions. You've made my job super easy. It's really nice to have you all engaged. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you've got any more pressing questions, get them in because we're going to start rounding up. I would like to. Okay, we've got a question. How did you enter the property ladder as landlord on a doctor's salary? This must be another person that follows you on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but cool. Good question. So I always loved and wanted to get involved in property from a young age. I sort of saw my parents do it and that inspired me as well. So from a young age, I saved my money and I was like, when I can, I want to get on the property ladder and I want to buy a property. So yeah, so I think I posted one of the properties I bought earlier this year, and I think that's probably where this person's got the information from. Yeah, I mean, if you're working and you have a salary, and especially in medicine, we can locum and we can make a lot more money through locum work, and so that's basically what I did. So I just saved up my money, worked hard, and then found a house, put a deposit on the house, and then I bought the house and I've let it out.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So that's going to be another
stream of income. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. That's really inspiring. BA said, "What is your opinion on the medical model?" I'm not sure what that means. So BA, if you're still on, please elaborate slightly on your question, and I'll definitely put it to Dr. Chris. While we're waiting for that, I would like to ask if you've got any. There may be, like I keep saying, we've got students that watch. What would be your top tips for people trying to get into medicine?
Work hard and do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because anyone else is influencing you or anything. Like, do it because you want to do it. Don't do it for the money, because there are many other jobs out there that are more financially rewarding. And yeah, just work hard and make sure you enjoy whatever it is you're doing, live in the moment and live a nice balanced life. And just, enjoy whatever stage you're at, just enjoy it and work hard and do your best. Yeah.
And I think if I can just speak off the back of that, I think something you said is so key is that do it for you. I think there are a lot of people who maybe go into medicine because maybe because their parents want them to, because that definitely exists. Of course, in a lot of black households, we've got parents that want us to be doctors, but also making sure that you really know what it means to be a doctor, what it's going to be like, that you've asked enough questions to people who are actually doctors, so that if you're going into it, it's something that actually aligns with your personality and the way in which you want your life to go. Because minimum you're going to devote 5 years of your life into studying medicine, and then you've got all the training afterwards.
The exams don't stop.
So
yeah, do as much work experience and placements as you can. I know it's quite hard to get, but if you can, do as much placements and work experience so you can really see what the job entails and see if it's suited for you. Yeah.
Awesome. Stacey said, do you mentor young doctors or can you start? Because she put this emoji there, guys. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I do. I've got a couple of medical students and aspiring medical students that I mentor. So yeah, you can get in touch with me, and yeah, I'm happy to speak to you. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start to round up. BA, please, you can still send in the elaboration of your question if you would like. But now I'll ask Dr. Chris, how can people find you? Do you want people to follow you on any social media platforms? How can people find you online?
Just mainly Instagram. My name on Instagram is Ohene Kofi Chris, and yeah, you can contact me on there. You can ask me any questions directly as well. I'm happy to help anyone out. any aspiring medics or anything like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so guys, that's been us. Another episode with us on the House of Medics. Dr. Chris has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Like I said at the beginning, the House of Medics is your one-stop shop for anything medicine from all different healthcare specialties. If you have any questions, you need a mentor, or you just want to meet other medics, send us a DM on any of our social media platforms. We have a Telegram group where you've got access to all of us and you can speak to us. Got a few more comments. Thank you. Great talk. Amazing. This has been a wonderful session. Great host and great gist. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Chris. Starman, thank you. Thank you all for your comments. In terms of the House of Medics, you can find us on our website. That's www.houseofmedics.org. On TikTok and Instagram, we are at We Are House of Medics. On Twitter, it's at House of Medics. On LinkedIn, it's House of Medics. And of course, on YouTube, it's House of Medics. Drop us a DM, get in touch. We're more than happy. We love meeting you. If you want to come and watch these live streams in person, you are also welcome to come. Send us a DM. We do have people sitting in the audience every single time. And even if you want to be a guest, send us a DM. We'll talk about it. And if you have any ideas for what you'd like us to talk about, the kind of guests that you'd want us to have on, let us know. Thank you all so much. I think about patients as well. Thank you, Shay Love.
But not in bed.
She said I think about patients as well. If I want to think about them. It's just like, you know when the day is done.
Stop. It's all right.
Okay. Thank you all for watching. Stay in touch and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. If you have anything that you'd like to see us do on this YouTube channel, make sure you let us know and we will do our best to get it sorted. Thank you all for watching. Love you all.
Thank you. Bye.